What is up, everybody? This is Lyle No Hippie Barbecue and Cooking. For those of you guys that have been rocking with me for a while, know that I became an over-the-road truck driver. So when I come home, I'm really looking for something simple and easy to make. In my last couple weeks over the road, one thing kept coming to my mind was some braised beef short ribs. So when I got home, I looked through the kitchen, or looked through the cabinets, looked in my refrigerator, saw what I had. Listen, the only thing I needed was to go get some beef short ribs. Everything else I had on hand. This is kind of one of those empty the refrigerator recipes, so it's really nothing that needs to be exact, although I will have everything and estimated amounts in the description below. Now I'm going to be using a cast iron skillet for this, or almost kind of like a Dutch oven. You could use a pressure cooker with this technique, or even a slow cooker, as long as you braise the meat before you put it in the slow cooker. So why don't you come on in, take a look at what the ingredients are I have, and then we'll get cooking. So like I said, these are going to be some very simple ingredients. We have our beef short ribs right here. Now, to save some time on camera, all that I did with these beef short ribs was take some flour, salt, and pepper, and just kind of dredge them in that mixture and set them off to the side. I have a couple bay leaves, some sliced garlic, some rough chopped onions, carrots, and celery, and I just have a barbecue rub and some rosemary, and you could use whatever you want for the seasoning. The barbecue rub I'm using is from a company called Sweet Smoky Joe. Look them up online, some good stuff there. They have a bunch of different products. We have some tomato paste. I will be searing it in this olive oil. I was hoping I had some avocado oil, but this should work for what we're trying to do here. And we have a couple bottles of Guinness, and I have a couple more bottles should I need them, but hopefully this will be enough. Let's get cooking. So I got my cast iron heated up. Now this is pretty shallow. I do have one that's a little bit bigger than this, but I think we're going to be fine with this. I'm going to hit it with some olive oil. Now, one ingredient that I didn't mention earlier was I did have some dried rosemary over there. Obviously, if you could go fresh, that would be the route to go. Now we're going to take our beef short ribs, and we're just going to brown them on all sides. And I might have to do this in 2 batches. We've let these go a few minutes. Let's go ahead and flip them. That's what you're looking for. We just want to brown them. So we got these browned on all sides. I'm going to just set them off over here. Get these last 2 in. And when we pick it back up, I'll be cooking down my vegetables. Now we're going to add our vegetables. So we're going to add everything but our seasoning and our garlic. So there's our onions, our carrots, our celery, and we're going to cook these until they're translucent. Alright, so we have our vegetables cooked down. I'm pulling up all that meat that was stuck to the bottom, all those drippings that were stuck at the bottom of the pan. So we just added our garlic. Throw our rosemary and seasoning in there. Might as well hit it with our bay leaves as well. Give those a stir. And our tomato paste. And might as well hit it with our beer as well, just to thin out that tomato paste. And I'm just eyeballing it. Looks like we're going to have to add our second bottle. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and throw that whole second bottle in. should be good to go. Now, excuse me, I did have one of these beers off camera. Alright, got that good to go. Just gonna place our meat in. I have our oven preheated to 350 degrees now. I'm trying to cook this a little bit faster. Normally I would go like at 275 for about 6 or 7 hours. What I'm gonna do is do like 350 and see what it's looking like in about 3 hours. And I want our meat to be covered at least halfway. And this is gonna be like a puzzle getting our last couple in here. Actually, you know what, let me kind of go like that. All right, boom, there we go. Get a lid on it, get it in the oven, 350 degrees. We'll check it in about 3 hours. So guys, I ended up letting this stay in the oven for about 4.5 hours. Just wasn't as tender as I would have wanted it to be. These are pretty big short ribs. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna remove all of our short ribs and our bay leaves. I'm going to set them off to the side. Now this next step is optional. Just falling off the bone right here. This next step is optional. And that is going to be to blend up our cooked down vegetables in here. Just to kind of smooth it out and make it more or less like a gravy. That's what I'm going to do. You could just go ahead and leave it chunky like this. It's going to taste just as good. Now once I get this blended up, we are going to be tasting this for flavor and adding any adjustments we need as far as salt, pepper, or anything else you'd want. We could also add some more liquid if it's not as thin as we'd like. So I did taste this off camera. I was wondering if I should have added some beef stock in the beginning. I was trying to keep it really simple, and I'm actually glad I didn't. This is giving you a really beefy flavor just from the beef ribs itself, so no reason to add anything extra to it. Maybe a little bit of salt, but I'm not even going to add that. So I'm just going to get this back in the oven, and really I'm just getting it back in the oven long enough for me to make this parsnip mash that I'm going to be pairing it with. Then we'll get into it, see what's up. So it is a wrap. Time to get into this and see what I think about it. Now I do know it's tender enough to go at it with a spoon, so that's what I'm doing. So let's get in and see what's up. Let me just try the meat by itself. That Guinness is almost bringing kind of a coffee, kind of an essence to it. You get the sweetness from the carrots. Good to go. Let's get in with some of these parsnips. Overall, excellent. I think that, I went with the parsnips because I had that on hand. I think this would be much better with like a cauliflower mash, just because the parsnips add a little bit of sweetness to this, but it's already kind of naturally sweet with those carrots in there. So it'd almost be better to go with something a little bit more rustic, or maybe I could have added some garlic or something to them parsnips, but still excellent. I mean, either way, I think it's better than going with mashed potatoes from a, from more of a health perspective, but very good. Anyway, that's a wrap. I'd like to thank you for stopping by No Hippie Barbecue. I appreciate it. Comment, subscribe, and I'm out.